Okay, let's talk water issues, especially down in eThwekwini. The municipality wants law enforcement agencies to investigate the possibility of sabotage that is targeting its water infrastructure. Let's bring into the conversation Ednick Msweli, head of eThwekwini Water and Sanitation. Ednick, good morning to you. Appreciate your time. I want to start here. How do you know this is sabotage and not just bad infrastructure that's failing? Why is it sabotage? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Gareth, and good morning to the viewers at home. Yeah, what we are monitoring here is a pattern. Obviously, we wouldn't have just taken the one incident and called it sabotage. It's because of what's been happening over time. I might even go to the extent of saying, I know that my mayor had even reported this to the SSA and the State Security Agents, and they themselves have investigated this matter. And this is because of the incidents that we've been experiencing in eThwekwini. But in this particular instance, in fact, recently, about a month ago, our PRV, a very big PRV that affects supply to the CBD of eThwekwini, was vandalized and tampered with, and that affected supply to the whole CBD. So even then, we started to get suspicious. But with the recent problems that affected Mhlanga and surrounding areas, a similar thing happened where we found 2 air valves not damaged, nothing done to them, simply closed. And that affecting for 8 days, as most viewers already know, supply to Mhlanga and surrounding areas. So that made us even more suspicious. Why would anybody just close a valve? So it says to us that somebody that knows, understands how the system works and knows the impact that it would have just to do that.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to ask you about as well, because it does raise the questions. You mentioned the air valves, Ednick, as well, and this is why we've got to be so careful the wording we're using, that this is the vandalizing and the sabotage of this. It's not having infrastructure stolen, it's just someone going in and playing around with the system and then causes this problem. Do you know if this is a former employee? Because obviously they know where they're going, they know what they're looking for, and they know how to disrupt the service. Do you think this could be disgruntled former employees?
I would say so. It's just a suspicion at this stage, of course. This is why we are asking for it to be investigated, and we've reported the matter to the police. But yes, it's quite possible, but maybe not an employee so much. It could be any of the service providers. I'm here referring here to contractors. It's a possibility because we use a lot of them to do our work as plumbers. They know the system, they understand it. We're just saying it's a possibility, but really we can't conclude at this stage.
So I want to just get a sense then for residents. We're going to talk about possible solutions, but how is it now affecting KZN, northern beach area, for example, in Mhlanga, northern parts of KZN heading up to Belito? What is the water situation this morning? Now that you know what this vandalism is and this sabotage is, what's the water situation heading into their homes?
The situation has improved since for the past 2 days. Obviously, the reservoirs were empty, so it will take maybe another day or so for them to fully recover. But it has stabilized in the sense that people now have water in their taps. In fact, most of the reservoirs are full, so we're quite happy. Even the high-lying areas that were most affected are now getting water. The problem we're dealing with, it just unfortunately made it take so long to get to the problem, because the process of getting rid of the air in the system is a very time-consuming one, and it took us very long to get where we are now.
Yeah, I understand it's the thing about flushing out the air, right? You could have burst water pipes further down as well. I saw some residents in Mhlanga Ridge, which, if I remember correctly, is a little bit higher up, away from the beach area. They were struggling with water, but if you say the reservoirs are filling up as well, just for those still struggling, perhaps give it a day or two. Ednick, I want to ask this. If you say that you've identified what is being tampered with, as you say, the sabotage, how do you stop it from happening? If you know it's a problem and those who are tampering with it are knowing it's a problem, how do you stop it from happening? Are we getting more security? Are we putting bigger gates there? Are we getting cameras? How is it being dealt with this morning and today?
And those answers, Gareth, that you're mentioning are exactly what we have to do and what we had started working on for some time. So what becomes prohibitive is the costs of doing all of those. Already on security, we're spending in excess of, I would say, about 130 million per annum. So that's a lot that we're already spending on security, because all of those, or not all of them, but certainly the more critical infrastructure has got security stationed today. So to do more in terms of stationing security is going to be very difficult because it costs more. So we are now looking more to technology in terms of putting intruder alarms so that if a person goes there, some alarm goes off that would notify us. I think that's what we want to look at going forward. So we've budgeted every year now, beginning from this financial year for the next 3 years. We've got about 4 million rand in the budget to start working on that. I know that 4 million is not enough. We probably need much more than that, but it's just for us to get started. So we will do everything that we can to secure those assets.
Okay, well, that's the news then, at least. For the moment, no quick solutions, but at least there's solutions in play. Ednick Msweli, thanks very much, Head of eThwekwini Water and Sanitation for those in the eThwekwini Metro municipality. So it looks like they have found the problem. It was air valves that were being tampered with, and it looks like they have found that problem. It wasn't damaged. It looks like someone is just causing trouble, just for trouble's sake. But as they say, they get more security now. So if you're one of those areas, eThwekwini, the reservoirs are being filled up. It might take a day or two, I'm afraid, especially if you're in those high-lying areas. I saw quite a few complaints from Umhlanga Ridge, but that's quite high up. It might take a day or two.